I used to be in Perth at least once a week, back when I was opening and running restaurants. So, does everyone know the bothy? It's mine. Well, it's not mine, but it was. I opened it. So, I created the bothy on my dining table after 2 bottles of red wine. I don't know what the bothy's doing now. Has anybody got the bothy? Is it nice? Good, that's a fiver, you. So no, I love Perth. I've got, as I say, it's only an hour for Glasgow. I mean, you could live here and work in Glasgow. I'm sure many people do. Right. So I quite like demos to be normally in a kitchen. I'm in a horse box, and Giraffe were kind of concerned that I would be out of my depth in a horse box. But I recently did a photo shoot with a race horse. So I said as long as the horse wasn't still in the box, I was fine. But what they should have got was got me a box within the box so that you can see me. I'm obviously looking bigger on the telly. Right.
Step there if you want to be.
I'm only kidding. I'll fall off. I was kidding on. You don't have to rub it in. Right, so the plan was, normally when I do demos, I do like them quite interactive, so if anybody's got any questions, whether it's on the food, or how horrible Monica is, or how mental Greg Wallace is, I'm quite happy to answer the questions.
How mental is Greg Wallace?
How's what?
How mental is Greg Wallace?
Really mental. Like, Glasgow mental. So, no, he is, he's off his head. And if he was here himself today, he would tell you the same. Right, I need to cook stuff, don't I? In fact, you know what am I going to do first? I'm going to make some pasta. I know that's not very Scottish, but we're going to use the pasta as a vehicle to fundamentally carry anything that's in this whole square. It works really well. So we're going to use Summer Harvest rapeseed oil, an amazing product, and a brilliant family, and it's local to here. And Alan's chili concoctions. Alan's probably one of the few people I know that's actually invented something. He was the first, in my opinion, to have did the chili jam. First time I'd ever seen it, it was with Alan. So, and it's a great story. He made it by accident. So I think what happened was he was making something like chili sauce, had a beer or two, forgot about it, came back, ended up being jam, and it was better than his chili sauce. So that's a true story, made up by me. Right, so pasta. Has anybody ever cooked pasta before? I'm sorry, everybody's cooked pasta before. Anybody ever made pasta before? Never ever. Pasta, homemade, fresh pasta, made from flour and eggs and a wee bit of oil, is one of the most delightful things you can ever eat, and it's dead easy. It helps if you've got like a Magimix or a food processor, and it doesn't have to be. It can be a 20 quid one from Argos. It does the same job. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop 2 eggs into my blender. So guys, feel free to shout abuse or heckle, I don't mind. It sometimes adds to it. I was just thinking on the way up, you know, let's hope we get the weather. Especially since it's my first ever demo outside in Scotland. So, it's a wee bit risky. But. So we'll get 2 eggs, 2 egg yolks. I'm going to add a little bit of this amazing cold pressed rapeseed oil. This rapeseed oil is something that is better than olive oil. And it's better than olive oil for a lot of reasons. It's better than olive oil health wise. And it's also better because it's Scottish. And rapeseed oil, I don't know, there's if you Google rapeseed oil, there's a lot of negative press about the pollen and all that sort of stuff. The reality is the majority of that pollen is the government's fault, British government, because 10% of all biodiesel needs to come from, 10% of diesel has to be biodiesel. Most of that comes from rapeseed oil. So all the farms that you see, majority of them are making oil, not food. But when you're buying something like that, it's much better. Right, so mix the eggs and the oil up. And then I'm going to take some in fact, with Tesco pasta flour, which is brilliant. Basically, this is bread flour with the word pasta written on the front. So bread flour works fine. Don't buy bread flour with bits in, because that doesn't go through the machine. It'd be good if I could open the bag without ripping it. So I've been in the Giraffe Cafe this morning, and the team there, who are in the front row, set up this demo. So if I'm missing anything, guys, it's your fault. I'm sure we're not missing. I'm sure there's some better stuff in there than I was even going to do. So, right, I've managed to open the bag. It's amazing, I can make brilliant pasta, I can't even open the bag. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of flour in with the eggs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep adding flour until the mixture looks like couscous. I had a bet with my pal when I was on MasterChef that I wouldn't do pasta, because we were sitting talking one day and I said, if you ever see me making pasta, it means I've ran out of ideas. So I didn't, and I won a tenner. I was very close to doing pasta on a couple of occasions. But on MasterChef, I think one of the reasons I won was because I'm Scottish. And I don't know if Jamie Scott's got the same impression. I think he might. I've got a wee duck, a wee handbag duck that my wife bought the kids, and that's all it does. It still barks at us. We've had it 6 years. Any advice other than what? Cook it. There's 7 years at home and it's not big enough. Don't know if you get away with saying cook a duck anywhere else other than Perth. So, as I say, and I'll tell you why I think I had a real advantage being Scottish, was because a lot of the challenges that we had to use food or make something that reminds us of our homeland. And one of the best guys on the show, he was from Yorkshire, and they've got rhubarb. He was up against Scotland, who've got everything. So, whilst he was, because we were all pals, and we all wanted everybody to do well. Not too well, but he wanted everybody to do their best. And he did a couple of dishes with rhubarb, and it's really difficult to work with, but venison isn't. So, God, that'll be my mum phoning me, sorry. It is. Mum, I'm on a demo. I need to phone you back. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Say hello, Mum.
Hello.
I'll speak to you later. Do you know why I know it's my mum? Because she's the only bugger that phones me. Right, so we've got our pasta. That wasn't a wild guess. Right. So we're going to run the pasta through the machine. fact, I'm going to just add a wee tiny touch of water to that, just a wee touch. Where is my machine? So, as I say, it was, so when we had these challenges to cook stuff from our homeland, I actually felt as though I was cheating. Right. So, Monica. It's the official line on Monica. Is everybody watching MasterChef? He's watching that celebrity one? It's a shame they couldn't find a single celebrity to do it, innit? Innit? I mean, does anybody know anybody? I'm just glad I wasn't on it with that big tall guy. I mean, that would have been an extra camera crew just to cover both of us in the same shot. So, but anyway, I don't know who else they've got, but you see the names flashing up, and I don't know, I blame me being old that I don't know. Because these people might have been celebrities when I wasn't bothered about them being celebrities, and then they're on the road doing, and I've missed everything. I've missed their whole careers. I think Tapau's in there. So MD under the age of 45 won't know who she is. Aye. I mean, she's the only one I know. But I still think, and I'm biased obviously, I still think the professional version of it's the best. And the reason for that is it's real chefs making a complete and utter pig's ear of it on telly, and it's brilliant telly. And as a lecturer at college, when I'm training young chefs, it's brilliant to, you know, there's a skills test where they sort of have this basic sort of skills test that the commentator will tell you all chefs should know this and all that sort of stuff. And in the most part he's right. But it's a great tool for us because, you know, these guys are billed as, you know, head chefs and all that sort of stuff. And then they get, you know, a saddler lamb. And they can't do it, whereas our first year students can. And just because they've not been to college, it's they don't have that skill. So for a lecturer to be able to say, this is why you're at college, you're learning those skills that a lot of people miss out on. Right, so the pasta's in a good shape. So a pasta machine works the same way as a mango works. Does anybody remember twin tubs? Twin tub washing machines? Good demographic, remember?
Yes.
So you had one side where you did the washing, in the middle you had a mango to rinse, and then the spinner. This is the middle bit. And basically all we're doing here is making the rollers closer together, that then makes the pasta thinner. I'm just loving those chef's hats.
Yeah, they're lovely.
If my wee boy was here, he wouldn't be drawn. He would be heckling me. And he's only 4. Right, so just a couple more turns. I'll never walk down this street ever again with the same view of it. So life after MasterChef's been pretty mad. Some crazy, amazing days I have. It's incredible. So tomorrow I'm going to Indonesia. I know. Had to look at it on a map to know even what direction I was going in. I don't know what I'm doing in Indonesia, but I'm going there. Right, so we've got a nice big sheet of pasta. And what I want to do with this is just cut it into a more manageable size, and then I did the Burns Supper at number 10 this year, number 10 Downing Street. I wish I hadn't bothered. Because being National Chef of Scotland, everybody, obviously I'm very Scottish, I can't help that. You know, I didn't become Scottish on telly, it's just the way I am. But I'm not political at all. I don't care who I feed, doesn't matter whether it's Donald Trump, Queen, the Pope, Prime Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, I don't care, I just cook. But the abuse I got, it's unreal. It was like I'd betrayed the country. There was a quote in a newspaper that Robert Burns would be turning in his grave because I did a Burns Supper 2 days before Burns Night at number 10. She wanted to do Burns on Burns Night, but I was busy. It's true, I was busy and we couldn't do it. I was doing a Burns Supper at the college. So she had to go early and give me enough time to get back and do my dinner at the college. So, but no, that was interesting, number 10. I was going to ask if we've got any chefs in the crowd, but chefs are all working, it's Saturday. They're all busy. Got some up-and-coming chefs at the front. Right, so we've got some pasta. Alternatively, you could just buy it, but it's not the same. Right, so I don't leave home without them. Right, so really simple stuff here. I'm going to turn that off just now. So I'm doing a pasta dish using the most amazing brown crab. Where's it from? So, our broth seafood brown crab. Brown crab is something I used on MasterChef, and the reason I use it, the reason I did use it, I went straight for it, it was in a challenge up against it was a final 12 challenge, and the second I spotted brown crab, I thought I've got to use it, and the reason is it is just massively tasty, and even if I had made a hash of it, it would have still been tasty. So we've got some, and again, cooking I think it should be simple. It should be whatever's in the fridge, whatever's available, whatever's grown. And a lot of this produce, probably with the exception of the lemon, has been grown locally. So I'm going to take a bit of red onion. Is everybody keen cooks or just keen eaters? On both? It normally goes one way or the other. We're just talking about the guys do a lot of baking at Giraffe. And it's a skill, I mean, bakery's a proper skill. This is just flinging stuff in a pan and seeing what's in the fridge. But bakery's a science, and I love that side of cooking as well. And when I was talking to the guys this morning, they all seem to have a skill and a passion for home baking. But again, this neck of the woods is kind of famous for its baked goods, isn't it? Dundee cake and all that. Do you have the same rivalry with Dundee that Glasgow's got with Edinburgh? Do you? Is it here? The impression that Glaswegians have got of Perth is it's very posh. So I wore my tweeds today, just because I came to Perth. But I know it's not, because I've worked here loads. He's all kidding everybody on. A lot of students in Perth are not from Perth, that's the problem. I used to have to step over them when I finished my shift at the bothy. We only get that in Sucky Hall Street in Glasgow. Everywhere else is relatively good. Where did I put my oil? There we go. I mean, everything in here's under my nose and I still can't find it. There's a little bit of rapeseed oil. So to that I'm going to add a little bit of red chilli. So again, the sort of advice I would have for anybody that's want to change what they're cooking is just do it, just mess about, see what's nice. When you're out shopping, you know, I don't know if does anybody work from a recipe, I don't know. You should really just be going out and buying what's nice and what's available. There's a real thing in Britain in general where we don't cook that often, and then when we do cook, we kind of cook the same stuff. You know, people are creatures of habit, and what happens is we do all our shopping on the same day every week, don't we? We go to the same supermarket, we park roughly in the same place. I mean, we would never go to the other side of the car park, even if it's closer, or there's space. We pick our trolley roughly from the same area every time, and then we go around that supermarket picking up the exact same stuff we did the week before. We go home, we unpack it, we lift the chicken out the bottom of the fridge and put it in the bin and replace it with the chicken you're going to put in the bin the following week. And that's us in a nutshell. And there's 1,000 reasons why. People are feeding families. People are feeding families, and remember I said these are good? I was telling lies. It'll be fine. So a little bit of chilli. So it's just about changing your sort of routine, and obviously, you know, I know the reason why people cook the same stuff, because I have been guilty. My wife's been guilty. If she would ever cook, that is. Her answer to her turn to make dinner is, why bark when you've got a duck? Right, so that's cooking away. The other thing I would say is just be careful with chilies, because you've got that chili oil all over your fingers, so just make sure that you don't poke your eyes or anything like that. You'll end up in trouble. Every chef I know has got a chili story, none of which are repeatable. Right, so again, this is a really light, sort of fresh dish, and really what we want to do is just really encapsulate that flavour. We've got some brilliant peas that we shelled this morning, and these have just been blanched just to get that lovely colour. And what I'll do is I'll pop the pasta. Has anybody got any questions? No? Fresh pasta cooks much quicker than dried pasta. It takes about 3 minutes. You can dry it. It dries out as soon as you make it. It dries out within about half an hour. So see if you just hang it over a clothes horse. A clean clothes horse. It dries out. I think it'll be alright. We're getting there, aye. I do Landward. Does anybody watch Landward? Landward's murder. See, cooking in Landward, it's murder, because you're on a beach and you get a 9. And see, try to get any heat. I remember once I was on Arran. I was doing Arran beef, and I was talking away at the camera and saying, when you put the steak in, you've really got to hear the sizzle. And you popped it in, nothing. So I just kept going. And the director at the end says, that was brilliant, we can put the sizzling in post. And it did. So I'm doing some venison next, so we might have to make those ourselves. So, but there's a new MasterChef show coming out. I filmed it a few weeks ago. They're following some runners up, and getting the runners up to go down to London and cook against each other. I'm so glad I didn't wasn't a runner up. So they've picked the kind of best runners up against each other. I mean, I can think of nothing worse. Imagine getting beat twice in the final of MasterChef. So I've got a dinner in a couple of weeks where I've got 3 of the competitors are coming up to Glasgow we're doing a dinner. So I'm looking forward to that. So I've just popped in some peas. I've got these little lovely cherry toms. Again, locally grown. Where are they from?
Just over the river, the walled garden, giraffe, walled garden.
Your own garden, yeah. So when you're doing demos and when we walked into the kitchen, there's just an abundance of fresh local produce. I mean, look at that. Doesn't get any simpler, does it? I mean, 10 quid for Argos. The cooker costs less than the food.
Are you commissioned from Argos or something?
A man commission. Listen, Argos is great. It's much cheaper than John Lewis. I'm not on commission in Argos. I'm just skint and can't afford John Lewis. Right. I'm actually cooking off these in the house just now because I don't have a kitchen. I'm getting a new kitchen put in, and the kitchen company have ripped out my kitchen and no gave me a new one yet. So I've been about 2 weeks cooking off a. I'm going to fling in a wee bit of spinach, and then the pasta. This, samphire, just because it was there. And what that's going to do is just, they're kind of salty. It's like, what do they call it? What do the Americans call that? Sea beans, the Americans call it. So it's grown beside the sea. And, right, so the second last thing I'm going to pop in is Alan's chilli, whatever he's making at the minute. So there's a bit of lemon in there, which I thought would go well with the crab, and there's a bit of chilli. I don't know how hot this is. Right, and the last thing ever, right, the crab is cooked, brown crab. All we want to do is just warm that crab through. There was 2 tubs of crab this morning. One's been eaten by me. And to prep a crab, if you were to buy a whole crab, it's relatively straightforward. Right. And I think we're good. We are good. Seasoning. Chefs are awfully messy, aren't we? I'm terrible. Absolutely terrible. I do all the cooking at home, and sometimes it's so messy that I actually lock the door so no one can see the mess I've made. And on the rare occasion my wife will come in and offer to help, it'll be that time when the place is in such a bad condition that I can't let her in. Right. So